D2DNY, Real World HVAC Simplified. Today I'm going to show you how to test and bypass the Trane unit. Thermostats. Has to be a Trane RTU though. Whether or not you have the Reliatel inside version or the older version, they still can do the same function. So this is your main control board, and this LED number 2 is the main status LED. All right, and you'll notice your main control board because you'll have wires for your thermostat. These are familiar terminals, and this is for the Trane thermostat. That's what's been current our zone sensor. But you could jump it over here. It'd be the same thing. However, we're going to put it in a test mode, and once in test mode, this LED right here will be flashing. Now, how you go about that? Once you open the controls panel, you see right here, LTB, test 1, this is test 1, and test 2. So if you short that indefinitely, it will go through, it will start with the fan. If the fan is not on right now, currently the fan is on. You can see, the contactor is in, the fan is on. Compressor, that's off. That's compressor 1, compressor number 2, or compressor number 1, compressor number 2. They are currently off, they're not on. But when you initiate the test sequence, if you leave the jumper across these two terminals, if you short these two terminals right here, test 1 and test 2, it will go through, starting with the fan, then I think heating, and then each stage of cooling will go right through it. Now, if you initiate it by placing the jumper, by shortening the terminals momentarily, so let's say you short it until say the fan starts, and you'll know that you're in test mode because this light LED will be flashing, as I'm going to demonstrate in a little bit. Once you remove the jumper in that actual mode, if it's the fan mode, it will stay there for I think 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and then when you reapply the jumper and hold it for a moment, it will go to the next test, which is next one will be heat and then cool. 1, 2, you get the drift. It goes through the entire thing. So if you leave it on it, in recap, if you leave it the jumper on the terminals right here, if these terminals are shorted, it will go through everything step by step, and then it will be done. And if you want to stay in whatever mode you're in, if you are the cooling number 1 or heating number 1 or heating number 2, remove the jumper. It will stay there for about 45. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so I have my jumper attached to the wire directly in the back because sometimes it's a pain just to use these terminals up front. You can see it's corroded. So to make it easier, I clipped one hand on this set already in the back. And so now I'm going to go ahead and touch right here. Firm connection. See? So that's the first stage. And right now, if the fan wasn't on, that would have started right away. But the fan is already on. So we are in test because you can see LED number 2 is now flashing. That's the beat for test on your main control board. So I'm not using the thermostat. Whatever the thermostat is doing, whether it's a Trane thermostat or you have the Reliatel version, this is a Reliatel unit. That's the reason why you have the terminal block right here. If you're using the older non-Reliatel version or a Trane unit, rooftop unit, then you wouldn't have the luxury of using a regular thermostat. You'll have only numbers like say here, but it will be over here on this another terminal strip over here. And you have to use only dedicated Trane thermostats. If you want to use a regular thermostat, then there's a conversion board that gives you you got to plug it into the main board, and the main board looks different from this, and it will give you regular thermostat out. But now, so right now the first thing, we are in fan. So I'm gonna go ahead now and this unit doesn't have onboard heating. It's using a hot water coil. And this is the wire out that goes to the actuator downstairs. So I don't know what it's doing. I'm just gonna hit it. It's gonna go through that phase for heating, And basically when we get the cooling, you guys will see it. So let me go ahead now and move to the next steps. I'm going to hold it in just like so. All right, now again, I think heating comes after fan, so I'm just going to hold it until I get to cooling, because I don't know what the heating is doing, because it's I order coil and with an actuator on that, and I don't know what it is. It's downstairs, so I'm just going to keep holding it, let it pass through the heating phase and get to the cooling. Come on. Okay, so I'm gonna remove it now. So all the time while I was holding it, like I said, first is fan, and then once the fan goes on, then the heating, which is obviously was powering up this 0 to 10 volt signal for your heating hot water control valve, which is downstairs. I can't really see that, so that's that. So I just held it in place until I get to the cooling. So when I remove it, it's going to keep my first stage of cooling on. Right, this first stage is on. Got one fan spinning. Surprisingly, this said circuit number 2. I guess it turns on 2 first, the smaller compressor. Turn the smaller compressor on first. And I don't know my pressures. I'm gonna check my pressures real quick. See how I'm looking. What refrigerant is this? I think this is a R410A. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my little NavVac. Quick pressure test right here. Never mind, it's the red hose. You can use whatever side you want. It's not arbitrary, it's just pressures. Okay, so I just want to see that my pressure is alright and I'm not low on refrigerant. Okay, secured. Alright. Okay, so we're looking good. R410A. The compressor is on. And I'm running at 100 and looks like 130. 10, 20, 30, 40. 140. So that's good. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead now and I'm gonna move to my next stage of cooling, which is this big boy right here. Okay, so that's already on. You can see that it's in. Contacts have been made. The cover is off, I don't know why, but so I'm gonna go ahead now, demonstrate. I'm gonna hold this and you'll hear cooling number 2 activate. Okay, so I'm on it. Here you go. I remove it. I'm gonna stay right in cooling number 2. So I got 1 and 2 on right now. That's in. And that's in as well. Down, all the way down. And this is running right now. So apparently Trane turns on the smaller compressor first, but they label the smaller compressor number 2, as you can see, and the big compressor number 1, but they flip-flop the stages. So number 2 turns on first and then number 1. So let's check number 1. I was a little bit confused right there because, and somehow this light doesn't feel like cold. Something might be wrong with this compressor because this may just be standing pressure. Oh, it turned off. Oh, okay, so I see what happened here. It turned off. So when I went to the other compressor, the first compressor turned off. See? So it turned off. All right, nonetheless, take that out. Over here. And that is looking pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, R14A. Line right here is nice and cold. Alright, so let me go ahead. I think now the next step will be both stages simultaneously. Let me see here now. Let me do it again. I'm gonna hold it on there. Firmly. There you go. So there you go, that's the next stage. So what it does, basically, the first thing is you get the fan, right? And then from the fan you got one stage of heat, then second stage of heat, then second and first stage of heat simultaneously, and then first stage of cooling, then second stage of cooling, then first and second stage of cooling simultaneously, and then that's it. All right. So yeah, that's feeling cold right now. Definitely feeling cold right now. Yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, that's nice. I mean, can I take a measurement of that? Let me try. Let me try. It's probably not going to be accurate, but I'm going to try anyways. It's a 47. All right, let's see this one. $45, $44, $47. Yeah, so you know, we're pumping, and then my discharge line, you know, so we're on 132. This one is so tiny, I don't know if I can get on it. It's not pretty inaccurate, but it's showing me some. Yeah, 130. Yeah, it's on. All right. And right now we're cold outside, so let's see what we got down here. It says 74, but that's not right. I know it's colder than that out here. Let's try up here. Yeah, this is more like it. All right, so that's how you do it. That's how you would test your Trane unit. You know, bypass thermostat, Trane zone stat, whatever you have. Just come right here like the pro, like the boss, and you take control, and you can do your test. You can do your maintenance, and you know, free of any worries that, you know, the thermostat is going to turn off your cooling or your heating or whatever. You're in control. Once you have this light is flashing here, you are in control, and the control board will ignore any input from over here or from the Trane specified thermostat. So if I go right here now and I hold it here, all right, so the test has been completed. Now it's going to remain in test mode for, I think, 30 to 45 minutes. And if I could go ahead and do it again if I really wanted to, but no need. D2DNY, Real World HVAC Simplified. Subscribe, like. I do upload videos on a weekly basis.